Yesterday I realized that there was this entire life behind things.
Hey, I'm John of Figurative Arc. Welcome to my channel. I'm a visual artist. I hope you'll like and subscribe if you find this content to be valuable. This whole topic today of looking but not seen was inspired by the scene from American Beauty, which was an American film. The scene where the young man is explaining the power behind very ordinary things, in this case, the bag that's being tossed around in the wind, and him seeing like the poetry and the power in that. It recently reminded me of the film when I had my statue of Michelangelo's David, a copy out in my courtyard, and I was looking at the sunlight that was filtering in from the trees on the body, and it almost animated it for me. It's almost like, he was standing there, and then with all that light and that was kind of flashing back and forth, it was almost like he was moving. I started becoming mesmerized by what it represents, which is a scene from the Bible of David about to go into battle against the giant Goliath. Now, whether you think that's a real historical event or mythological or whatever, the idea was in the story, everyone was telling David what to do, how to fight, or not to fight at all. They didn't take him seriously at all. They were telling him if you're going to fight, you need to do this. Put on your armor and do it this way and that way. And he was just like, this giant's huge. I'm not going to defeat him by putting on armor. And he ultimately had his slingshot and hit him in the head and killed him. And so I just thought about that with potential, and particularly men in our society, which we're told to be a certain way and to do certain things. Everyone's got an opinion. And yet, he instinctively knew what he needed to do. He knew what his part was in the story in that moment. And then he did it. And he was successful. And thinking of just how important that is, that we can see within yourself unlimited potential, and to not let that be knocked off course by a lot of voices of people that are telling you, no, do it this way, do it that way. And even if we sometimes go down the wrong path, sometimes we have to do that and make that mistake ourselves, because making mistakes also is the great teacher. So that's what I saw, is just seeing David in a different way, and just seeing the power of, it was almost like he was animating and thinking about, as the body moves and as his arms would be flinging that slingshot around before he hit Goliath in the head with that stone, it would have created shadows on his body. Taking the time to slow down and just really look at something and just allow it to just really get inside you and have a relationship with it. It's inspiring, because life can get very monotonous and familiar, and yet we can look at something that we've looked at every day but never see it. And then if we slow down and look at it, we finally see it, and how much richer that would be, rather than everything being monotonous. And so I'd be interested if this kind of registered at all with you. What do you think about that? Have you seen something along these lines that maybe other people have missed, that you have thought, wow, this was really cool, and you had actually noticed it and everyone else just kind of didn't pay attention? I'd really be interested in hearing your comments below. Consider subscribing if you have enjoyed this content, as I talk about my creative process and would like to hear about yours. Hope to see you again on the channel sometime soon. Until then, toodaloo.